Welcome to Beauty as a Birthright, a podcast that explores awakening our six senses: touch, smell, sight, hearing, taste, and intuition through embodied Daoist practices. I'm Dr. Tamsin Lee, a Daoist metaphysical expert and founder of Elemental Archetypes, sharing face reading, Batsa astrology, and seasonal living.
And I'm Dr. Paige Yang, owner of an integrative health clinic in Honolulu and founder of Yang Face, a culturally appreciative Chinese facial tool brand. Join us on our personal journeys as we navigate the complexity of inner, outer, and relational beauty. We'll chat about how awakening our beauty through the six senses impacts our relationship to aging, childhood trauma, romantic relationships, motherhood, dating, careers, and so much more.
Let's awaken our senses and explore beauty as a birthright.
Tamsin.
Hello, hello. We're back again.
Know.
This is the second time we're going to record this episode. And I was just laughing because I was like, oh, why did we record? So, like, to just catch up, everyone, like, our recording didn't go through last time. And that was during Mercury retrograde.
Yep.
That was so dumb of us. Because you and we have Virgo stelliums. Both of you and you're a triple Virgo. I don't know your other charts. I am a Virgo sun, but I have so many Virgo placements everywhere in my chart. Like, why? I even thought, I was like, I feel like this is a risk for us to take.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, which I think it's funny because it's like, I feel like it's going to, I want to bring this up again because I think it has a lot to do with humility. And like, something that I've been thinking about is like, when you're trying to work through some stuff, like, where do you actually push forward and when do you actually just like surrender, be like, I have no control of this and I should not even try. Like,
right.
So today we're going to talk to Dr. Paige, and this episode is going to be all about her and how she's been navigating the dragon year and just get to know you on a different level. I like your lei. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Is there a special reason why you're wearing it?
So yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, shoot.
And then I met up with a girlfriend this morning to walk the beach.
Aww.
And she gave me this lei. It was really nice.
Oh my God, I'm the worst with remembering birthdays. I remember when we hit September, I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I message Paige. Happy belated birthday, Paige.
Thank you. Thanks.
What did you do on your special day?
I took the day off, which was really nice. And then I got a 2.5-hour spa package.
Nice.
Yeah. And just kind of, which was amazing. It was super relaxing. So it was a really nice day. I really needed that.
Do you like enjoying your birthday? Like, do you like celebrating your birthday? What are your feelings around your birthdays?
Yeah. So my son and I have the same birthday.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably come up a few times on this podcast, but a lot of it, he just turned 10. So our birthdays are really more focused on him, which is totally fine for me. And that actually makes it funner because we have like his birthday party. So I'll meet up with a few close friends and we'll, do something like I said this morning. I walked the beach with a girlfriend. Later this week, I'll get lunch with a couple other friends. And Friday, I'll have dinner with another friend. So I really enjoy it. And I think it's a great time for me to practice receiving because I am so used to being on the other end of giving. And so it's just a nice practice for me to try to let go. Like you were saying earlier, surrender. I have some friends who asked like where I want to go. And I just said, as long as it's gluten friendly, that will work. I'll just like let them decide. Instead of, I'm used to looking things up and telling people like, let's go here, or let's do this. So it's just a good time for me to practice every year receiving.
Ooh, I love that. How does it feel to receive?
It feels really good because it reminds me that the people I surround myself with are capable of giving. And I think I I'll enable those around me, or I'll initiate before others. And so I'll almost forget that that's a skill that they also have. And I'm sure also brings them, joy to be able to practice that skill within a friendship. And so it's nice to me to remember, oh, yeah, of course, these people are just as capable of giving as I am. And that's not the only reason why they value me as a friend. So it's a nice time for me to reflect on that.
Do you think it's a Virgo thing where you're like, I love how you explain, like, oh yeah, they're capable of giving.
Well, okay, so when you think of Virgo, right, it's like the earth sign. It's the most like grounded, motherly, embodied sign. And so I think of that, in Chinese medicine, in 5 elemental types, like I think of the earth element and how that is part of the nature and archetype of the earth element. So even though, you and I might gravitate towards other elements, there's still going to be that part of us from being Virgo that is like very giving. And I know last time you talked about that too in your relationships and your romantic relationships, how you'd always be like giving, giving, giving. So I think that definitely is one of the hallmark traits of a Virgo.
Yeah. Well, giving, also we're very service orientated. We're perfectionists. We love beauty. So it's like we are the best. But we're also the best givers. Like we will do all the research, right? And like give specifically for you what you need in that moment, what you would enjoy, we put so much thought into how we give. And I think that in some ways it's hard to, we have such we also have like we have high expectations, so I think it's very hard for people to give to Virgos, and if you can give to us, it's like, wow.
I was thinking too, what other sign is as proud as Virgos?
Nothing. No one. We're the best.
It's just
this
like
world will fall apart without us.
I mean, I meet so many different people from different signs, and they'll just casually be like, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. And then I'll meet a Virgo and they're just like, oh, Virgo, super proud of being Virgo, love being Virgo, obsessed with being a Virgo. I don't know, is this unique to us, or are there other signs that feel equally proud?
I think there are other signs, but I just love it when Virgos do it, because I don't think no one understands why we are so proud to be Virgos, because, it's like how the world sees us, like control freaks, perfectionists, anal, like these are things that you shouldn't be proud of, but we're like, yes, we are control freaks. Yes, we have anxiety attacks all the time. It's like wonderful. We're perfection. But I think every sign, like Leos love themselves too, and I kind of like that about
that's
Leos.
part of being Leo,
Yeah.
It's like it's so different though than how Virgo, like, I don't know, I feel like they love themselves in like, I don't know, a more superficial way. I mean, I won't talk for them, but as a Virgo, that's what it feels like.
I think Virgos, it's like maybe we had a difficult time loving ourselves at one point, and then we reached that point of fully loving ourselves, and then we create this like little secret club that's just like only other Virgos can understand how neurotic we are and how it's okay. And like, I feel like the Virgo club is just like, we may be very delusional, I don't know, or like just have figured it out. And then all the other signs are like, why are they like this? They shouldn't be like this. And we're like, yeah, we're fabulous. But you are an incredible gift giver. The gifts that you have given me. I mean, I always tell people, like, listen, like, if you're gonna buy me a gift, just put the gift receipt in there, because I will probably return this, because I rarely receive gifts that I think like, wow, I love this, and it has nothing to do with price. right? And it's just, I can tell how much thought you put into it. I can tell how much you thought about me. And your gift, I was like, wow, this is like amazing.
Oh, Tamsin. I felt the same too when I love that we've like mailed each other gifts. I felt exactly the same too.
Yeah.
When I received your gift.
It's incredible how gifts can make you feel seen.
Yes.
Wow. It was your birthday. And so I'm curious to know, I have so many questions because I think birthdays are like really just transitional. Like, at least for me, it's like I never look at New Year's really a big thing, but I think of the day of our birth is something different. Yeah. So, well, let's go back because we were talking about motherhood as one of your main themes for Dragon Year. And so I'm curious to know, what does motherhood look like for you now? And then how do you see it transitioning into this new year?
Yeah. It's, the fun thing too is that we record these episodes after I come off of like an EMDR therapy session.
You're crazy.
So I have like great material coming off of these sessions. No, so motherhood, what's interesting is I really found my voice and my worth as a clinician. I grew up in a household being the youngest and a girl in a more traditional household, not really being valued or listened to, seen as important. There's core memories where I remember being spontaneous or just acting my age and feeling really shut down and almost like embarrassed that what I had to say was not of value or an importance. And so when I then really found my calling in traditional Chinese medicine and built a career around people paying me to tell them what to do, in other words, like people value my expertise so much that they're going to come in and listen to what I have to tell them and take it to heart and actually do those things and make an impact. That has been so healing for me in understanding my worth. The hard part, though, as a mother now, is I have had a hard time like unlinking my worth to that role. And so I get close to my son by like treating him and being his clinician. And I realize that that's not a healthy dynamic for him just because it's how I feel most comfortable. So I have to figure out how to be engaged and present with him that doesn't revolve around his health, that's still going to make him feel like I really care about him. And I think it's going to come back to being spontaneous like a child because those qualities were shut down in me so early on.
Incredible. This came out of EDMR.
EMDR.
Sorry. I always get those confused. Wow. I was thinking like, I wonder if other practitioners, not just acupuncturists, but anyone in the healing modalities, like I was thinking of acupuncturists, but also like therapists, like if they think about this, like I hope this makes sense, but I see it in our field that I see sometimes clinicians who have children, they use their kids as props. And I don't think they mean to do that. But that's like, look at this healthy child. Look at this healthy, perfect child that I'm raising. And I often think like, that's a lot of pressure. And like, I'm sure that kid is super healthy because like, if you're a child of an acupuncturist, you're eating well and you have all these like habits, but sometimes it's like to the extreme. And being too healthy is also, it can turn into being unhealthy.
Well, I think like, so for my son, I don't want him to feel like it's wrong or not okay to be sick.
Oh yeah.
And that's the natural part of being human. And it's an important part too. But I think he came into like really formative years during COVID. And entering school during that time too. So that really heightened this type of, this perfectionism that us Virgos have. But also for me, I need things to be perfect to feel safe. And so during COVID, when that was impossible to obtain, it's like I needed him then to be perfectly healthy for me to feel safe. I mean, I couldn't, none of us could control the pandemic and the spread and all of those things. But I thought that this is what I could do. And then it's like that hasn't really stopped. And the hard part is like when I talk to other mothers, most of the children are never quite 100%. This walk that I went on with this mom, she's talking about her son's cat allergies and how he went to school with hives the other day and how he's sniffling all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are normal things that for me with my poor son, I wouldn't be okay with that. Like I wouldn't be okay with him having hives or being allergic. And so to a family cat, etc. And so that's something that I really need to work on, because the messaging that he's getting is like, either it's not okay to be sick, or if you are sick, that's when you're going to get mom's most attention. They're very like confusing messages for a child. And so that's something that I'm like really trying to figure out this dragon year and change for our family and for him and I's relationship.
What does perfect look like to you or feel like?
Yeah. I know that's hard too, because it's such a slippery slope, right? It used to be no symptoms of illness. And then it was, okay, if there's no symptoms of illness, then I want really good sleep to prevent any symptoms of illness. And if there's good sleep, then I want lots of sunshine. Like, it's just like it doesn't end. Or like I want to make sure the gut's really healthy. And so that's how anxiety works though, right? It's like it grabs at anything. It just grabs and hangs on. And so I think though I'm trying to understand that perfect should, for me, I think I need to replace that word with like safe. Safe. Yeah. And not perfect doesn't equal safe. For me, I need to understand that they can be two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or safe cannot be perfect.
Right.
It's funny because like Virgo in tropical astrology is the earth. It's a mutable earth sign. But I see so many metal qualities with Virgo because it comes into the metal season. It's a mutable sign. Metal is a mutable element. And there's a lot of the qualities of Virgo that is really associated with the metal element in Chinese medicine and less so with Earth. Earth people are not perfectionists. You ever go to like a Earth person's house? Like it's like a Virgo's nightmare. We like minimal, clean lines. I love Earth people, but and even like acupuncture itself is a very metal element. I see earth people like herbalists, that's their strong suit. Metal is like the actual needle is made of metal. It's all about precision. It's this tiny, tiny, tiny little needle that has this huge impact. And I was going somewhere with this, but I forgot. But perfection. And metal is very much about perfection. And I deal with similar issues. I think it comes out in different ways. And the way that I explain it to my clients is metal is very much about perfection because we love beauty. Like seeing things not beautiful sensorially does something to us. It's just like, I don't like this. Is like, it's very anxiety driven. Like if something's off, and I don't think that I think we say that comes from control, but I also think it's this thing of like, it's not in harmony, like, yes. Why is this here? It's not it's not harmonious. It's not balanced. And so that's where beauty comes from. And then I think of like nature. Everything in nature is beautiful. Everything in nature is perfect. Everything is in harmony. Right?
Yeah. And the sacred geometry. It's
Yeah.
literally perfect. Yeah.
Perfection, because it's beautiful. It's harmonious. Yeah. So you kind of talked a little bit about what your childhood was like, and what. So can you share more about that? Like, what kind of mother, I guess, or yeah, what kind of mother did you need as a child?
So the interesting thing is my mom is also a Virgo.
She is?
Yeah. And
Oh.
she's a dog, and I'm a tiger, and my son's a horse. So we have that triad. And then I had my son on my 20th birthday, and my mom had me a couple of days after she turned 28. So there's a lot of things that we share, our qualities, my mother, me, and my son. But there's a lot of things that I could have really used as a child. I think at the end of the day, I didn't know. There were many days where I didn't know if I was going to be okay. And actually live, like if I was going to survive or weather. And so if somebody was there next to me that entire time and just said it's going to be okay. You're not going to die. We all eventually die, but in those moments as a child, and you're going to come out the other end. Like if I knew that, and I don't think my mom could have given that to me, but if someone or something did, I think I would have had a easier time getting through those years. And so I think with my son, I probably overdo that messaging by trying to keep him overly perfectly everything. And then the thing I've grabbed onto is health, because that's my profession. And that was the easiest thing to grab onto. And so I think even though I'm not telling him those words, because he's not in the same environment that I was in, but I'm kind of just trying to control him from, I don't know. So the way I see it is the thing that you can have above others is your health. That's the greatest currency, I feel, right? That's why I got into this field. It's that's above anything else. If you have your health, you have so much. And I feel like that's the best gift I can give him, and I'm good at giving that gift. And so that's going to be where I will obsess over it. And then somehow I think that, I don't know, it has to be making me feel better that I wasn't able to feel that level of reassurance. I don't know. I'm still trying to work it all out. But yeah, that's what I would say. I probably needed reassurance.
It reminds me of what you just said, safety. In that moment when you thought you were going to die, just to have somebody say you're not going to is saying you are safe, or you will be safe, or yeah, safety has been such a huge theme in my life too. Trying to understand what that feels like. So do you know what safety feels like when you feel it in your body? Have you felt it truly, genuinely safe, and you're like, oh, this is what it feels like?
I only have one core memory of that feeling. I was 6 years old in the Bahamas, and I fell asleep in a hammock. And that's the only memory I have from childhood of feeling safe. And so I go to that place over and over again in my mind to try to remind myself that I'm safe. And then recently I was boogie boarding with my son, and he was so happy, and we caught a wave together, and he was looking at me, and that feeling came back. And I was like, whoa, I felt it again. It was fleeting though. And so now I have these two memories. This happened literally within the last month. of those two feelings of like, oh, that was the same feeling of feeling safe.
How does it feel in your body? Like, where do you feel it?
I feel it mostly in my chest, and then it's like, and behind my eyes. Like, I feel like I can finally relax and take a breath.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you had that feeling of safety?
It's interesting because it's like, so I'm taking this training. It's like a somatic embodiment training for sex, love, and intimacy. And safety was like the second class. So we did a lot of these somatic practices of what it feels like in the body. And it's interesting because it's like, this is exactly what I teach PhD students now. And I'm trying to, I know, like, I never really realized how many moments of feeling unsafe that I have experienced in my entire life. Like, I just thought that was normal. And now I'm learning all this. I'm like, oh, that was not normal.
Right.
That level of feeling unsafe where your life is at risk. And I think I know how to deal with that more so. Safety for me is so new. And I think because I've experienced so much trauma, the feeling of safety feels very boring to me because my brain and my body doesn't view it as this ease and this calm. And yet that's something I desperately want. But once I start to feel boredom, I put myself in situations that will make me unsafe to get that high again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so now I've been really exploring like just being bored. And it's hard. It's so hard. Even like just the other day, I'm like, wow, my life is so boring right now. I'm like, how can I make this like what can I do to throw dynamite in this?
Can I text?
Exactly.
You know, but they say like boredom for children is really important because that's when all the magic turns on in their brains, and that's when they have to get super creative and they go into this like magical place in their imagination and their consciousness expands. And it's, I mean, educators love this stuff. And so I wonder for an adult what it would do for us to be bored.
Same. I think you unlock this other world. You know, I think about and I, you know, kids these days, they don't even have an opportunity to be bored because you have your phone all the time. And so when you're bored, you just get on the phone, and adults the same way. But remember, like when we were kids, you know, you would just be like laying on the grass for like hours, like waiting for friends or like waiting for something. Yep. You know, you see kids just like this. But kids don't do that anymore. And we as adults don't do that anymore.
I know. I was thinking too how before, like probably more like our grandparents' generation, a mother's escape was reading. Like that was how she was not being present with her children and like escaping the world. And like now reading is like something I prescribe. It's so healing. It's so good for you. You know, a mom's escape now is being on their device and just swiping through apps and dopamine hit. And it's just like, it's so interesting how times have changed where like that used to be seen as escapism.
That's what every time I take a holiday, a vacation, my biggest thing is to read. I'm like, I cannot wait to get to this tropical island and just read. Like I have no desire to go see anything. I'm just like, I just want to be on the beach and I want to read, and I bring all these books and I get so excited. Yeah, but I could read at home. I just don't.
Right. It's so healthy. And that used to be seen as like a mom trying to get away. And it's just so interesting because I'm like, that's so good for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's something that you said in the first episode where you talked about the dark night of the soul. And when I heard that, it reminded me of this Daoist concept, which I can share later. But I was like, is this dark K-N-I-G-H-T or N-I-G-H-T? Because I've never heard of it. But since then, like, I've been hearing it everywhere. And so can you explain to people where it comes from? What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm. I don't know where it comes from, actually. I've heard it enough too to feel like I just know what it means from when people have told me about it. I love though the KINT KN I version of it because that's a really interesting visual too.
But it's
But yeah,
N-I-G-H-T, like dark nighttime?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. No, I don't know. I don't know.
It's weird that my brain went there. The K-N-I-G-H-T, dark night of the soul.
I know. That's really neat though, because people talk about like white nights and yeah. Well, no, so for me, I mean, it really just means like, I guess in theme with the Virgo, it's for me, it's been the shadow side of Virgo. So the shadow side of perfectionism and control and yeah, those have been kind of, and like overachieving and really liking external validations.
I never thought you like external. You need external validation.
Not verbally, but like look at my life, right? It's like I obviously did because I got a doctorate, I opened my own clinic, I have this podcast, I have a brand.
Yeah.
Like, I have like a whatever, however people measure success, I'm like hitting all those benchmarks. And so that tells me that I am driven by those things, right? Even if I have a lot more substance than all of those things, it's just something that was a driving force. So for me, that's what it's been. It's been like the darkest. I actually just recently did an Instagram post about this. After being off of my Yang face for like 5 months, I did a post recently talking about how this has been like the darkest night of my soul, like the most trying time and period of at least my adult life.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's it for today. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend and give us a review to let us know how you've been navigating your beauty journey. You can also follow us on Instagram at Beauty Birthright Pod and say hello.
To learn more about face reading, Batsa astrology, and seasonal living, head over to elementalarchetypes.com and follow me at Elemental Archetypes.
And to explore beauty through your own hands, visit yangface.com and follow at yang.face for tutorials, Chinese medicine theory, and candid thoughts on cultural appreciation.